You've seen the headlines. Florida real estate is booming. But here's the truth nobody's talking about. Some of Florida's hottest housing markets are now turning ice cold. Entire neighborhoods sit half empty. For sale signs gather dust, and families who once moved to the Sunshine State chasing paradise, they're packing up and leaving. Why? Because in 2025, the housing crash hit Florida harder than anyone expected. It's not just about overpriced homes, this goes deeper. Climate change, rising insurance rates, and economic instability have turned once thriving cities into ticking time bombs. And if you think it's only happening in small towns, think again. Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville, no one's safe. By the end of this video, you'll know the 12 Florida cities most at risk of becoming ghost towns, and what this means if you own property, plan to buy, or are just trying to make sense of this chaotic market. Have you seen signs of this where you live? Empty homes, fewer neighbors, or price drops? Let me know in the comments. I'm reading every one. So, what's really driving Florida's real estate meltdown in 2025? Let's start with the money. Property insurance premiums in Florida have skyrocketed. Some homeowners are seeing the increases of 50% or more in a single year. Insurance companies are pulling out of the state altogether, leaving residents scrambling for coverage or going without it. No insurance means no mortgage approval, which kills demand fast. Add in rising mortgage rates hovering near 7%, and suddenly that dream home becomes unaffordable. Buyers are backing off, sellers are slashing prices, and homes are sitting on the market for months. But that's just the beginning. Florida's vulnerability to climate change is accelerating the crisis. Sea levels are rising, flood zones are expanding, and Category 4 hurricanes are becoming the norm, not the exception. In some areas, homes that were worth $500,000 last year can't find buyers today, even at a discount. And then there's the out-migration. Retirees and remote workers who once flooded the state are rethinking the move, with rising costs, extreme weather, and declining services in some cities. Many are heading back north or west. The result? Overbuilt suburbs, empty condos, and neighborhoods that once felt booming now feel abandoned. This crash isn't just about bad timing, it's a perfect storm of financial, environmental, and demographic forces. And it's reshaping Florida's housing map city by city. First, Tampa. Once a red-hot relocation spot, Tampa is now seeing a steep pullback. Housing inventory has doubled since 2023, and over 40% of listings have had price cuts in 2025. New constructions that were meant to meet surging demand now sit unfinished or unsold. Insurance premiums have made waterfront properties especially unattractive. What was once one of the fastest growing cities in the state is now experiencing the sharpest slowdown in the region. Second, Jacksonville. Jacksonville was a favorite for families and remote workers, but that demand has cooled rapidly. The average home sits on the market for more than 60 days, and price reductions are becoming the norm. As inland flood zones expand and job growth stagnates, many buyers are holding back. Investors who bought in 2021 and 2022 are now exiting the market, even at a loss, fearing further depreciation. Third, Miami. Luxury condos and beachfront high-rises once defined Miami's real estate scene. Now, climate risk and rising insurance costs are shaking buyer confidence. Flooding is frequent, insurance is unaffordable, and foreign investors, long Miami's safety net, are staying away. The median price has plateaued, but price per square foot is falling fast. Many properties are sitting empty, owned by absentee investors who can't sell and won't rent. Fourth, Cape Coral. Cape Coral was hit hard by Hurricane Ian and never fully recovered. Insurance premiums have tripled in some zones, and rebuilding costs have outpaced market value. The city has one of the highest vacancy rates in Florida right now. With over 60% of listings seeing price cuts in 2025, Cape Coral is rapidly becoming a warning sign for coastal overdevelopment and climate risk. Fifth, Northport. Once a magnet for retirees, Northport is facing falling demand. Condos that were quickly snatched up just a few years ago are now languishing on the market. As Florida's insurance crisis spreads, many fixed-income residents are being priced out of their own homes. New construction projects are being halted, and builders are offering aggressive incentives just to break even. Sixth, Naples. High-end homes in Naples aren't immune to this downturn. The ultra ultra-wealthy are starting to think twice before parking cash in a flood-prone zip code. Inventory is climbing, luxury listings are sitting for months, and the once endless stream of retirees is slowing. Local agents report a growing gap between seller expectations and buyer realities, creating a market freeze that shows no signs of thawing. 7th, Sarasota. Sarasota's charm can't outpace its challenges. The city has seen a surge in unsold listings and canceled contracts in early 2025. Developers are pausing projects midway through, and sellers are slashing prices by $50,000 or more just to get attention. Climate concerns and rising HOA fees are pushing younger buyers away, while older residents are struggling with insurance costs they never budgeted for. 8th, Punta Gorda. Punta Gorda has been hit by a double whammy: declining property values and environmental risk. Homeowners here are facing flood zone reclassifications, and many are now required to elevate their homes or pay unmanageable premiums. Condo prices are down nearly 20% year over year, and buyers are nowhere to be found. This once peaceful coastal retreat is becoming a financial trap for unsuspecting owners. 9th, Port St. Lucie. In Port St. Lucie, the housing frenzy has fizzled, builders overextended, and now supply is far outpacing demand. What's worse, many of the homes built in recent years lack proper storm resilience, making them tough to insure. With investor interest dropping and locals priced out, the city is experiencing its first sustained housing correction in nearly a decade. 10th, Orlando. Tourism is bouncing back, but Orlando's housing market is not. The boom driven by short-term rentals has turned into a bust, as stricter regulations and higher maintenance costs hit Airbnb hosts hard. Many are cashing out, flooding the market with homes that were never meant for long-term living. Add rising taxes and cooling demand from out-of-state buyers, and Orlando is facing a silent slide. 11th, Deltona. Deltona was one of Florida's most affordable cities, but it's losing that edge. Home values rose too fast and are now correcting just as quickly. Unemployment has ticked up, and the city lacks the economic diversity to weather the storm. Vacancy rates are climbing, and evictions are spiking, especially in rental properties bought by out-of-state investors during the pandemic boom. 12th, Palm Bay. Palm Bay was once a best-kept secret, but not anymore. Infrastructure hasn't kept pace with growth, and now the cracks are showing. Rising property taxes, high insurance costs, and limited job opportunities are forcing many to reconsider living here. The result? A market oversaturated with listings and a growing number of abandoned new builds. Locals call it a slowdown, but some fear it's the beginning of something worse. If you had to buy a home in Florida right now, which city would you avoid, and why? Drop your take below. I want to hear your thoughts. When housing markets crash, it's not just home values that suffer, it's entire communities. Across these 12 cities, families who stretched their budgets to buy during the boom are now underwater on their mortgages. Many can't afford skyrocketing insurance premiums or unexpected special assessments. Others are walking away altogether, leaving behind empty homes and overgrown yards. Local businesses are feeling the ripple effects. As residents leave and foot traffic dries up, restaurants, shops, and service providers are closing their doors. School enrollment is dropping. Municipal tax revenue is shrinking. In cities like Cape Coral and Punta Gorda, basic city services, trash pickup, infrastructure maintenance, even emergency response are under pressure due to budget shortfalls. The psychological toll is just as real. Home ownership, once seen as the American dream, now feels like a burden. Community morale is down. Neighborhood Facebook groups are filled with posts about foreclosure notices, crime spikes, and neighbors moving out. And renters aren't off the hook either. As investor-owned properties flood the market, rents are falling, but so is housing quality. Slumlord behavior is creeping in as owners cut costs to stay afloat. This isn't just a housing correction. For many Floridians, it feels like a collapse of stability. Is there a way out of this? The short answer: yes, but it won't be easy. First, Florida cities need to face the insurance crisis head on. State-level reforms are already in motion. aiming to stabilize premiums and attract insurers back to the market. But change won't be overnight, and in the meantime, buyers remain hesitant. Second, urban planners and developers must shift focus to climate resilience. Elevated homes, improved drainage systems, and smarter zoning laws are essential if Florida wants to retain long-term value. Some cities like Miami and Sarasota are piloting these strategies, but others are lagging behind. There's also opportunity. For buyers with cash and a long-term outlook, this downturn could be a reset moment. Homes are cheaper, sellers are more flexible, and the competition has cooled. But the key is buying smart, looking beyond just price to understand risk. For current homeowners, now's the time to reassess, refinance if you can, invest in flood mitigation, and don't ignore warning signs, because waiting too long can mean getting stuck. The storm has hit, but the rebuilding is just beginning. The cities that adapt will bounce back. Those that don't, they may be left behind. Florida's housing market is at a crossroads. These 12 cities, once symbols of growth and sunshine dreams, are now cautionary tales in a state battling rising seas, rising costs, and economic whiplash. Some will recover, others may not. If you're a homeowner, buyer, or investor, the message is clear. Don't follow the hype. Follow the data, watch the trends, protect your future. Because this isn't just about today's crash. It's about where Florida goes next. If this opened your eyes, make sure to like the video, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next in the housing market.